Greetings, film freaks. We are the Podcorn Kernels. Join us as we discuss the hard and often indigestible truths that are at the center of the fluffy and delicious world of cinema.
What's poppin', people? Welcome to the Podcorn Kernels Podcast. My name is Adam, and joining me in your earholes is Harry. Say hello, Harry.
Toto? I have a feeling we're not in Prineville, Oregon anymore.
On today's episode, we will be talking about Air. This is a 2023 film directed by Ben Affleck and stars Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, and Viola Davis. IMDb describes the synopsis as follows. Air follows the history of shoe salesman Sonny Vaccaro and how he led Nike in its pursuit of the greatest athlete in the history of basketball, Michael Jordan. Here is an original song to support the synopsis.
Nike! An origin story about a shoe. The team didn't know what to do. Held a meeting with the whole fucking crew. Bringing Fat Damon. Nike! They needed a baller, not Larry Bird. Somebody cooler, not Charles Barkley. Somebody taller. Bringing Fat Damon. Nike! Shoe so speaker, bank balance weaker. An awful lot of work for a fucking sneaker. Nike! Bringing Fat Damon, Damon.
Let's start with some facts about the film. Though Michael Jordan was not directly involved in the film, Ben Affleck consulted him numerous times to get details on how to accurately portray the story. According to Affleck, Jordan's only two requests were that Viola Davis plays his mother and that his longtime friend Howard White be included in the film.
Yeah, was Howard White the real Howard White, do you mean? Or do you mean his character be included in the film?
Yeah, the character of Howard White.
Chris Tucker.
Yeah, according to the fact, he had a big part to play in getting Michael Jordan the deal and was a really prominent figure in his career.
They didn't really show that in the film.
Yeah, he wasn't in it a lot.
No, he was more of Matt Damon's big up guy.
Yeah, he was the hype man.
The hype man.
Yeah.
He was the hype man for Damon to have the balls to go and see Viola Davis in her yard in North Carolina.
Yeah.
At least I suppose he had his part in it. I suppose his part comes after the sale.
Yeah.
Because he was talking about how he was in a club with another basketball player trying to get him out of the club because he had training. So maybe he's more like customer relations after the sale's actually been made. But I think he made it good. When he does finally meet Michael Jordan and the mum and dad, he's really welcoming. And I think it made them feel a bit more at ease that someone who's much more down to earth inviting them into the Nike building, because the others were clearly trying to sell something. He was really laid back.
Yeah, he offered that bridge between the two parties, didn't he?
Yeah.
And he was like, within the film, he's like the comic relief. I love Chris Tucker. I think his voice, whatever he does, he hasn't been in an awful lot, but I loved him in Rush Hour. And when I saw he was in this, I was like, I love Chris Tucker, man. I want to see him in
punk, bitch.
Yeah, he kills me. So I was happy to see him in this.
It was nice, yeah.
I wondered why, if those were his only two parameters that had to be met to make the film, you would have thought he'd have more to do in it, Chris Tucker. Because if he was so important, to Michael Jordan and the telling of this story, you would think he would have more to do. But he, as I say, he's only really in there to link the Jordan family and the Nike company.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he went on to have more success at Nike as well. Yeah, a lot of them jumped ship, I think, as well. They went to Adidas and Reebok. Even Sonny Vaccaro, after the film's events, went on to Adidas, and then Reebok.
Did he?
Yeah, they're all whores. They're shoe whores.
Because when the film finishes, it does what I love in a true story film. It gives you little facts at the end of what happened.
Yeah.
They make him out to be like a stone cold Nike devotee.
Yeah.
He fucked off. Jumped ship.
Yeah, jumped ship. Of course he did.
I've lost a bit of respect for the man.
Money. Give it to
course.
me.
Second fact, Viola Davis and Julius Tenen, who play Michael Jordan's parents, are married in real life.
Aww.
I just thought that was a sweet little fact. They didn't have an awful lot to do within the film. I'd say Viola Davis' character had a lot more of the heavy lifting than the dad.
Do you think the dynamics reminiscent of real life for them? The dad's outside fixing the car, just staying quiet, while Viola Davis controls every aspect of his life.
Viola Davis does strike me as someone who wears the trousers and is like the biggest voice in every room.
Someone's got to wear the trousers.
That's true, yeah. We can't live in a trouserless society. That would be god awful.
And as trouser wearing goes, she probably wears them real good.
She does, yeah. She's got that air of authority in every film I've seen her in. She's quite stern, but you can tell there's sort of a softness behind that fierce stoicness.
Yeah, I haven't seen her in much. Was she in The Help?
Yeah,
Warrior King.
Widows. Yeah, she was in Suicide Squad. She's been in loads of things.
Yeah, see, all the hype behind Viola Davis missed me because I haven't watched her in anything.
Yeah. I'd say I know she's a great actor because everybody tells me. The internet, the world says she's fantastic. The films I've seen her in, I think she's been pretty bloody good.
Oh, okay, good. I didn't know. I thought you were going to say average.
No, I like Viola Davis. As I say, she's got a commanding presence on screen, and I dig it. Final fact, Matt Damon said working on this film was the best job I ever had. I mourned it when it was over. Now, that shocked me a little bit.
Maybe it's because he felt like he was bringing some truth to the forefront of a story that no one really knew about. I think the more fascinating side of the story is Phil Knight, the guy who started selling sneakers out the back of his car.
Ben Affleck's character within the film,
I think he's kind of fascinating.
Yeah.
I could see why he enjoyed it. I mean, it's got a wicked soundtrack. It's fun. They're all banging weird haircuts. Apart from Damon, he just looks the same, but a little chonkier.
Yeah,
like you said, Jesse Plemons when he got fat.
Yeah.
Or when he,
They sort of change.
Yeah,
they're on rotation.
They Benjamin Buttoned.
Yeah, one of them's always slim, the other one's always tub. But apparently, it's a fat suit that Damon wore in this.
It's not that fat. He's got a bit of a beer belly. I didn't really think.
Yeah,
everyone's hitting on him saying fat boy, but all I saw was a bit of a beer belly.
He's got a bit of a midlife gut, which happens to all of us. I wouldn't say he's like medically in danger of being really heavy set within the film.
Well, he's at the age where he's enjoying the little things in life.
I think the character's more focused on getting a big name across the line for Nike than he is on his exercise and what he's eating. But you look at other films in Damon's repertoire. You look at Saving Private Ryan, The Martian, Good Will Hunting. Yeah, you look at all of those, and they're like his most iconic roles. Don't get me wrong, I liked it. I enjoyed it as a form of entertainment. It does everything you want it to. But for him to come out and say it was the best job he ever had, I don't know. Maybe it was because it was quite straightforward. Maybe if it's because it was with one of his oldest friends.
Well, his best mate's directing.
Yeah, and it's years after the fact. They've made it. They've got their success. They can relax more. Whereas Good Will Hunting, that was their first foray into it, wasn't it? So the pressure would have been bigger.
I think it was a happy story as well.
Yeah.
And that I think every so often, if you get to do something you feel passionate about and it's a fun project and you're laughing on set all day long, like Ben Affleck, he's always struck me as a bit of a comedian. Yeah. Like the way he directed this film, he loved the glasses, he had to wear the sunglasses, the jogging, the proverbs, the Buddhist, like it's comedy, really.
It is definitely, yeah.
I think he just had fun with his mates.
That's the sense I got. And you look at the cast and the way the chemistry is on screen. Matt Damon, Jason Bateman, Ben Affleck, Chris Messina, all those guys, Chris Tucker, when they're sharing the screen, you get a sense that everybody's having a bloody good time. And as an audience member, I think that's important when you're watching a film that's focused on a group of people trying to get the same outcome. They've all got to be rowing in the same direction, right? Yeah,
and no one really believing in him. Like, you can't spend a whole $250,000 budget on one guy. You've got to spread it over 3 or 4. And wow, it just goes to show that you should let someone go with their instinct.
Yeah, follow your gut.
Yeah, because he did it for him.
Yeah.
And made them the most popular basketball shoe.
Well, that's what...
And they were dying at the time. So
exactly that. Cool. I really enjoyed that about the film because it wasn't just Jordan and his family that he had to convince. It was everyone else within Nike that he had to be like, look, Jordan's going to be the next big thing. Listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. You've brought me in as a consultant for basketball. I know talent when I see it. Listen to me. And at first within the film, everyone goes against it, don't they? And then he first has to get them on board and then the Jordans. So the way it plays out, that communal feeling with all that big cast and stuff, it all just worked. And I'm happy for Matt Damon that he said it's the best job he ever had.
Yeah, it's nice. It is nice.
I'm still waiting for the best job I've ever had. What did you like about Air?
Matt Damon didn't need rescuing.
It is rare. It's a very rare commodity, isn't it?
No, I'm really joking. He is now and always will be highly watchable. He has an intensity to him that is always there, even when he's just being funny.
Yeah,
I've always enjoyed him. I enjoy his films. He could do a shit film. I think I still enjoy him, just like I do Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt.
I feel like I could throw a spanner in the works, and I haven't even seen the film because I too am a Damon devotee. But there's that film he did called The Great Wall, which is like a fantasy martial arts film.
Yes.
And it's one of those films that is produced and made in Asia. Has
Dragon Blade.
Yeah, has a huge budget, decent cast, and it just looks god-awful.
Yeah.
I put it to ye that film would damage Mr. your perception of Mr. Damon.
Well, I think I have actually watched half of that film.
There's your answer.
Because I was all into the whole Three Kingdoms, like the Battles of Red Cliffs and stuff, and that whole Romance of the Three Kingdom Chinese thing. So I watched it because I was fanning hard at the time. And I turned it off.
Yeah, unwatchable.
Well, it weren't great. Yeah. But a lot of actors are guilty of that. Look at John Cusack and Adrian Brody, and I think it's called Dragon Blade.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but you've given
one of the most shocking films you'll ever see.
You gave me an in-depth analysis of that one, and I can safely say I will never touch it.
Worst film I've ever seen. Worse than Hercules in New York, because at least with Hercules in New York, it was terrible from the beginning. They knew it was terrible the minute pen touched paper.
I didn't know Hercules in New York was a thing. Who played Hercules?
Arnie.
No.
You not seen it?
No, I haven't.
My God.
I kind of want to.
A bear breaks out of Central Park Zoo and it's clearly a man in a bear suit running across the lawn. Arnie has a fight with a bunch of stevedores at the docks with a huge plank, and the facial expression is like, it's so good.
Stevedores?
They're guys that work on docks.
Okay.
The Wire season 2, stevedores. Yeah.
Oh, knowledge.
That was their name. Dragon Blade, the worst film I've ever seen. And I would watch Great Wall over that any day.
Really?
Any day.
Should we do an episode on each one of them?
We should. And Hercules in New York.
Yeah, that sounds fun. I wouldn't mind watching that with a few beers. So your first main is the man himself, Matt Damon.
Yeah, I think he leads films brilliantly. I really do. Martian's one of my favourite films of the last 10 years. Yeah, that's one of my favourite, and probably one of Ridley Scott's better films from his most recent repertoire.
Yeah,
really enjoy it, and he smashed that sort of solo performance. Fuck you, Mars. Yeah, love him. Yeah, I really enjoyed him. I find him highly watchable. He's great.
Yeah, he's great, and I think he's like I mentioned in the facts, him saying this is his favourite ever project. I think there must be something lovely having a mate from childhood or maybe a bit older directing you, knowing your strengths, knowing your weaknesses, and I think both of them excel in this. There's that sort of comfortable. They're used to each other. They know each other. They know each other through everything. They can just vibe with each other. They know what's what, and that balance, that relationship, just works for me.
Yeah.
What else did you like about Air?
This is the only film, to my knowledge and memory, that has a Big Country song in it.
Yeah. In
a big country. So this is a Scottish band from the early 80s. Who never really had their big break or recognition that they deserved. And to hear this song in a big Hollywood film, oh man, it warmed the cockles of my soul. The music's already banging. And then when he decides to drive to Michael Jordan's mum and dad's house, even though his agent said, no, they don't want to touch Nike, they don't want to talk to Nike, and I hear Big Country, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I didn't even know this made it outside of the UK because it was a very obscure 1980s Scottish band. And if you ever get the chance, they've got a load of great albums, but just go for their greatest hits and buy it. Oh, they're an amazing band. They used to pair their guitars to sound like bagpipes. But for me, better than The Police. An absolutely incredible band. So to hear that in the film just made me go, what?
Yeah.
Like, even if, so at the early part of the film, I might have been like, oh, this is, I'm enjoying it. It's a nice film. And then when that song came on, I was like, I love this film.
Yeah, this film's amazing.
Yeah, because it just makes me think, well, who picked the songs for this film? Was it Affleck and Damon just chilling with a couple of beers in Boston? And then they just are like, oh, Big Country, let's throw that in. I'm like, these are my best friends.
Yeah, I like to think it's that. And
that's so cool.
Just to offer some insight, I'd never heard of the band until you brought it up in a previous episode on Bohemian Rhapsody.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And I had watched the film with subtitles. I like to do that. And it said that Big Country, and I did that, like, that Leonardo DiCaprio meme from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where he's pointing at the screen. Yeah, I saw it said Big Country, and I was like, hey, I know this.
I have no memory of that, but yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, so you loved that a band that you loved was included in such a big film?
Yeah, because it's one of them niche sort of groups that you don't think someone like Affleck or Damon or whoever was in charge of putting the music in, you just don't think it makes it to Hollywood. it's you can understand it when the Smiths do or something or the Beatles, but when you hear Big Country have made it there. Rolling Stones said that they were the greatest band to ever support them. So that's my point. They supported bands. They weren't really mainstream.
So they're kind of like always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah,
and that's probably quite endearing, isn't it?
Yeah, and they were excellent. Really, really great band, and I advise anyone to go and listen to their greatest hits.
Yeah. Was the song within the film? I don't remember it.
The song's In a Big Country, by Big Country.
Is it a belter? Is it one of your favourites?
Yeah. They've got loads. Chance, Save Me. Yeah.
I'll have to give them
loads of good ones.
A deeper look. Any more likes for me?
It's a rare gem when it comes to supporting actors and their performances. In my opinion, sometimes they can let down films, but in this film, Chris Messina as David Falk, hilarious.
Oh man.
Matthew Maher as Peter Moore killed me. His speech about the newest thing to happen to shoes was when they differentiated between left and right. That was 600 years ago. He talks about shoes like they're this mystical new energy that's going to save the world from global warming. I love him.
Yeah, within the context of the film, he's the guy responsible for actually designing the trainer, the sneaker. And I wanted to see more of him. And that was a spot-on impression.
He's
I must
great.
say, well done, yeah.
The first time he sees Matt Damon, he turns. He's wearing a leather jacket and he walks towards him. He's like, what can I do for you? And Matt Damon's walking towards him and goes, I need a shoe. And he goes, step into my office.
Yeah, he's there. He's ready.
And Chris Messina is this highly charged, I don't know, off screen, I feel like he's banging hoes and doing coke. He's so high energy.
He's got that vibe, isn't he?
I mean, in one sentence, he's like, I will rip your head off and fuck your skull. And then he goes, God, you need to see a psychiatrist. And then he calms down and goes, you don't want to see my psychiatrist. I'm like, this guy is so hot and cold. I love him. He kept me on my toes.
Yeah,
so very rare you get a film. And that's not including Chris Tucker and Bateman and stuff. Them two, who were, a little bit further removed from the central storyline. Excellent.
Yeah.
Really made me laugh. Enjoyed the support characters. And that doesn't happen a lot in films.
No,
sometimes they let it down, don't they?
They can be a distraction. They take you out of the story. If you've got a really strong lead, really strong characters being represented in the film, you're focused on that. If you have a dodgy side character that doesn't have to do a lot and they do it badly, it completely takes you out of the moment.
That's the team mentality, which I like. So I'd rather have, a football team where all the players are 7 out of 10 rather than a football team where most of them are 4, but the top guy is 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
So yes, your striker's incredible, but no one can get a ball to him. This is why I love this film, because there's not actually any one person in it that lets the side down.
And it mirrors the whole sort of subject of the film. They had to work as a team to get Jordan over the line. They all had to put their heads together and come up with a plan to be successful in their endeavours. And it's mirrored by the cast being so likeable.
All unique.
They all had something to say, and what they had to say was important and really represented well, I felt. My favourite thing about the film was just it's fast-paced and fun. Its air is accessible entertainment that is enthusiastic, energetic and easily digestible. It's just a nice, easy-to-watch film that does what you want it to, really. A strong cast deliver great performances that are all anchored by witty, sharp dialogue. A strong, slick and satisfying film that centres on a true story that I didn't necessarily find it all appealing before watching. I wasn't that interested in an origin story about a shoe, but it had me hooked from the start right through to the finish. And I think everything about it, the pacing, the comedy, the drama, the peril, all of it works so well. And like you said, when everyone's rowing in the same direction, the support cast, the main guys, everything, it just all works. Do
you think it helped that you watched The Last Dance?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
As a Brit who knows next to nothing about basketball, I watched The Last Dance on Netflix because it was hyped. Everyone was saying how good it was. So out of fear of missing out, I watched the first episode, loved it, found it fascinating. Michael Jordan as a character, the way his mindset is, how he thinks, how he's just obsessed with getting where he needs to be, that mentality, that monster mentality. Yeah, it's worth watching even if you know nothing about the sport, because it's fascinating.
That's how I went into it. I didn't really know much about Michael Jordan or basketball. I always, because of Space Jam growing up, I didn't even watch it. But
what a film. You've never seen Space Jam?
No, never watched it. It freaked me out. I looked at the trailer and I was like, that real human next to animation, what going on there? This ain't Bugsy Malone. Wait, is Bugsy Malone the animation one? What's the one with the really sexy rabbit?
Who shot Roger Rabbit?
Roger Rabbit.
I've never seen that.
That's animation / Bob Hoskins, isn't it?
But that animated lady in the red dress, mate.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind getting animated with...
oh, shizzles. Let me get you a brush and some paper.
Yeah. But I loved Space Jam.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't love it now. Does
he act in it, or is he just bald?
Well, the term acting is said loosely. I remember watching it as a kid and being like, he's not good at the thing that he's meant to be doing on screen. But when he's doing basketball, he's great. He's fucking Michael Jordan.
Baby Empire critic.
Yeah.
No, he's not good.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he's not fully committed in this role. He's fine when he's playing basketball, but when he's talking to Bugs Bunny, I didn't buy it.
Keep it in the court, Jordan.
Yeah, yeah, but certainly watching Save the Last Dance gave me a very...
Save the Last Dance.
Wait, isn't that a Julia Stiles film? Rom-com? What's it called? The Last
Dance.
Well, it's close enough, isn't it?
Save the Last Dance.
That's a rom-com with that song.
Is it a film?
Yeah. You can try to resist, my heart's on your lips, don't you know?
Oh, it's with that girl that looks like she eats cauliflower. The one from
Julia Stiles.
How to Lose a Guy. No, 10 Things I Hate About You.
Julia Stiles.
Is that the girl that eats cauliflower?
I don't know. I think I may have got two things wrong there. I don't know if it is Julia Stiles, and I don't know if that song is from that film, so we should probably move on.
Okay.
But, yeah, The Last Dance, great documentary. If you watch that before air and you have a very little understanding of the sport, it'll probably help you on your way. Second thing I liked about the film was the minimising of Michael. I thought it was a smart move to not show Michael Jordan engaging with other characters within the film. I feel the movie would have lessened if the character of Jordan had many lines. If he was included, it might have felt like a biopic. And whilst the man himself is pivotal in telling this story, leaving him out of it allowed the narrative to focus on Nike, their colleagues, and the pursuit of NBA's hottest property. Going in, I thought, while I don't know much about Michael Jordan, if the casting of Michael Jordan isn't good, it's going to be distracting. And the way Michael Jordan's hardly in it. He's almost like a background character, isn't he? An extra. You don't see him face on. You see him behind his parents or behind the people of the meeting. He says one or two things. Oh, really? I liked that, because if it had him front and center, it'd be like, well, this isn't a story about Air Jordan. This is a story about Michael Jordan.
I don't think he needed to be front and center, but we as an audience are supposed to also want to get this guy. And he's faceless and very impersonal when he does speak. He sounds very lazy teenager.
See, I applaud that, because within the film, he's not the Michael Jordan he is when he's made it.
But we still want him, because they want him.
Yeah.
They want him no matter what, even if he's an arsehole.
But they don't know a lot about Jordan at this point, other than they're the guy they want to get to represent their sneaker.
But you don't need to...
As the audience, I welcome him not having a lot to do, because they
But he didn't even have a face.
But that works for me.
Yeah, see, I don't think it does, because they don't there's no consequence for the audience. There's no, like, why are we fighting for him? Why do we want them to sign him? Because we know in the future he is better. He is the best basketball player in the world.
Yeah.
But I thought, just because if they would have casted someone and shown a face and given him a few lines, that wouldn't have taken away from the story that it was Nike trying to obtain him. Like, you see it in a lot of films. Some, like Damian Lewis playing Steve McQueen in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He has the tiniest role.
Yeah.
And you see his face.
I get it.
He's credited as Steve McQueen.
I get it.
Michael Jordan could have easily have had a small role in it. You could have casted Abraham Atta from Beast of No Nation, or that Caleb McLaughlin from Stranger Things. Small role, both young, both 21, same age he was.
I mean, I respect that you've done the research into it to give an answer. But for me, personally, I liked that, because as an audience member, I was almost waiting for him to be included, because the story's focused around him. Everybody wants him. He's the hottest property. So I was waiting for him to be included. And the longer the film went and he wasn't included, I was kind of there for it. I was like, okay, so we really are just focusing on a meeting about a trainer. And I liked that he wasn't involved. I just thought, okay, it felt refreshing to me. But
well, it works both ways.
Yeah, listen, on another day it could have gone a different way, and I could have been right there with you. But for me, with I thought it was just quite clever. Like, anytime he turned towards the camera and we thought, oh, here we go, someone would come into shot and get in front of him, and you hear him say two or three lines, maybe about having the Chicago ball colours when he first sees the sneaker.
Balls colours.
Yeah, very minimal. And for me, that worked because the story wasn't about Jordan. It was about trying to get Jordan across the line.
I beg to differ.
Okay, well, we can agree to disagree. That's what makes us friends. Final, for me, it mirrors what you said earlier, is Chris Messina telephone tantrum. I haven't seen a lot of Mr. Messina. I've only seen him in The Sinner, Argo, and I Care a Lot. And after watching Heath Turner's hot-headed agent David Falk, I want to see him in more.
He's funny, isn't he?
Oh, the scene where he lays into Matt Damon over the telephone floored me. Perfect blend of anger and comedy. First time I watched it, he wasn't in the film much leading up to that point.
No.
Then when he blows on the telephone, I was in stitches. Second time watching it, exactly the same. It's just, he goes from chill to chaotic in approximately 0.01 seconds and just blows his fuse. And I loved it.
Hey, David. Yeah. I see you Monday. You fucking what?
Yeah. And I loved the fact that Matt Damon's character, Sonny Vaccaro, he goads him.
Yeah.
He can tell he's losing his head, and instead of being like, well, calm down, or instead of hanging up, I'm not dealing with this, he says things just to get him ruffled up even more, and I loved that. He's a little wind-up merchant.
Well, they're almost mates, aren't they?
Yeah.
Even by the end, when they have this conversation, because it's supposed that Chris Messina's character, David Falk, coined the term Air Jordan. That scene where he's with Peter Moore, the guy who makes the shoe, and he says, I got this name, Air Jordan. Yeah. And they go, that's amazing. And then Matt Damon goes, I think Falk said it. And he's like, oh, and he goes, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, I loved that part in the film as well.
Very cool, yeah.
What elements of Air didn't you like?
Well, I covered one, obviously. I do think even with minute screen time, they should have shown a face. But so we saw the youth of Michael Jordan and what they were trying to obtain. He might as well have been a dollar sign rather than any type of actor. It was just like, it was impersonal. And it's hard for me as an audience member to see. I mean, yes, they want him for his talent, but there's a human there as well. And that part's taken out of it.
I'd argue, I'm going back again, but I'd argue that was deliberate, because at that time, they wasn't looking at the guy. They're looking at what he could be. And it was just it may as well have been a dollar, because that's all they saw him as a way to get revenue for a struggling part of the company. I don't think they really gave a fuck who he was. So I think that maybe mirrored it. Maybe Michael Jordan might have been like, no, I don't want him casted as me. We don't know.
I would agree with you if you were referring to Adidas or Converse, because they were approaching them as commodities. But with Matt Damon heading the charge on this, he was looking at it from a personal level. He looked at Michael Jordan. He said that he will do great things. So, I don't know, I felt like he could have had a face. The impression I got when Michael Jordan was a quarter of on the screen, or his back was on the screen, was impersonal, rude, twat teenager.
Yeah.
And so that's how I felt about him in the film.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that I'm not sitting here going, you're stone cold wrong. I am definitely right.
It's just flavours. Different flavours for different flavours.
Strokes for folks, different strokes for different folks. Yeah, so I can sort of see where you are coming from. I tend to disagree, but it'd be interesting to see what other people think. Any more dislikes for me?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a dislike, but I just find it hilarious. Look, Phil Knight's success comes from being wrong. So
yeah,
he hated every essential idea that became Nike. He didn't like the slogan, just do it. He didn't like the swoosh logo. He didn't like the name Nike.
Yeah.
He didn't like the most lucrative product name, Air Jordan. He even wanted to call the company Dimension 6, which everyone hated.
Yeah, rightfully so. Imagine that.
20th richest man in the world.
Is he?
Said no to all that was good about how successful his company is. That's to what made his company so successful. But I think there's a good message there, because what he does is he says, I don't like it, but he gives something a shelf life and lets it settle.
Yeah.
Which might be the reason he's one of the richest men in the world.
Yeah, I quite like that. That his character's a bit of a clown, I guess, but not deliberately.
Well, yeah, because he tries to put a cork in everything that tastes brilliant.
Yeah.
And then he profits from these ideas. Like, he paid $35 for the swoosh logo.
Yeah. I think his one saving grace is that he gives people the benefit of the doubt. You'll have other people in charge and they won't listen to anyone else. It's my way or the highway. The fact that he's like, I don't really like it, but let's go with it. I think the more he's done that, he's realised, you know what, I get it wrong every fucking time. So when people come with me and with an idea, I'm just going to be like, yeah, we'll go with it. Because everything I think turns out to be wrong.
He's fascinating. You know, he's the owner of the stop motion film production company Laker.
No.
Yeah, which he did Coraline and Box
Really?
Trolls, and his son's the head animator in it, and his son, I'm not kidding you, was a rapper, and his name was Chili Tea.
Chili tea.
Chili Tea.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you drink chili tea?
I've had chili hot chocolate.
I've had chili hot
It's
chocolate.
mega.
It's all
Get
right,
a little
innit?
burn in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he owns a bloody stop motion film production company. Wow. And his son, Travis, I think it's Travis Knight, he directed Bumblebee, done all the animation for Coraline and that. So he's got his fingers in a lot of pies.
It goes to show it's who you know, not what you know, right? If Chili Tea can get the money to direct a huge Hollywood blockbuster.
A white rapper called Chili Tea.
Yeah.
Chili Tea.
Vanilla Ice was bad enough.
Oh, God.
Is it Vanilla Ice?
Vanilla Ice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Iced tea,
It's an
Vanilla
actual...
Ice. Yeah.
Ice-T is an actual decent rapper who deserves to be there.
Do you believe that a serial killer coined the term "just do it"
Part of me kind of hopes it's true.
on death row?
So in context, in the film, that's what they say the phrase came from. A guy who was on death row, they said, have you got any last words? And he was just like, just do it.
Yeah.
And they coined that as the...
Gary Gilmore, his name was.
Oh, so it is true.
Yeah, he's a real serial killer.
Oh, do you have the fact there if it was actually what he said? And they
I think
used
it's a slight alteration from "just do it." I think it was.
Please, can you do it?
I think it was "let's do it."
Let's do it.
I think.
The ball's on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't agree in the film where I think, is it Chris Tucker's character? No, it's Marlon Wayans' character that says, Adidas is cool. It's all I do every day is dream about sex or something.
All day I dream about sex.
All day, and Puma is please use my arse. And I was like, but Nike it's awesome because it's the Greek goddess of victory.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's got more longevity than something that's all day I dream about sex and please use my arse.
Yeah, but there's no way them Nazi leaders pre-World War II, Adi Dexler or Dessler or whatever his name is, there's no way they said all day I dream about sex.
I think
it's his name, isn't it? It's his name, Adi Dessler.
Adidas, Adidas, as they say in the States, yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that the people that made Adidas were like, oh, this would be good to say to actually mean all day I dream about sex.
Surely between me and you, we could come up with a cool name for the abbreviation Nike.
Does it have to be sexual? Like Adidas and Puma, they've sexualized it with all day I dream about sex.
Puma, please use my arse is, that's not very appealing.
Oh,
like
it's begging.
I don't know in what context you're referring to. Do you mean my partner? Or do you mean strange guy on the train station?
To me, it's a bit beggy. It's a bit needy.
Yeah,
it's not like
everything's off bounds. So use my arse.
But it's like, please use my arse.
It sounds like something you would say.
It's like everyone's refused that person's arse. He's like, please use my arse.
What's wrong with
please?
This guy's arse?
Yeah. So a sexual term for Nike.
Well, not sexual, but there's if. All day I dream about sex and please use my arse is why them ones are more successful than Nike.
Here we go.
Nike. We could come up with one.
Never invent kinky expressions.
Never invent kinky expression. That sounds quite religious. That sounds like Kiss when the mums, Knights in Satan's Service, they called that.
But to set them apart from Adidas and Puma, they take the high ground. So they're like, we're not going to use sexual expression. So never include kinky. What was it I said? Never include kinky expressions. So they're higher ground. They're like, we don't need to sell our product with sex. We don't do it. We never do it.
Naughty innuendos kill elves.
Is that factual though?
I don't know.
There's no way to prove it.
Is innuendo begin with an I?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Naughty innuendos kill elves.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
So we failed.
Oh. I'd still say either one of them are better than please use
Yours
my
sounds
arse.
like a Mormon public service announcement.
I think it works because it's higher ground. It's like we're better than please use my arse and all day I dream about sex. It's better. It's more family friendly, and I think that's a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm just being a pure boy. Any more dislikes, or should I go on to mine?
Go on to yours, my good sir.
Ben Affleck's hair.
Always.
Man, I'm starting to think the man has a dodgy do clause in his contract.
I think he laughs at himself and does it on purpose.
Mr. Affleck has a fantastic head of hair, and as someone who is thinning on top, I'm sad to see his glorious hair be replaced by lackluster locks. What's going on? Like, why does he have to have these weird haircuts?
Yeah, he had NSYNC, didn't he, in the night one?
The Last Duel.
The Last Duel, yeah.
And like in this one.
And he had, the weird thing about The Last Duel is he also had blonde eyebrows.
He had blonde hair in The Last Duel. It was like a Mugatu perm.
That's fine. He's clearly not a blonde man. You only have to look at his eyes and his skin complexion.
Yeah, he's not a blonde.
That man was never blonde. He is a solid, stone-cold, Lego dark hair pop on your head in the morning.
Maybe as a babby.
Maybe. A lot of babbies are blonde. I was blonde.
I was blonde.
I became ginger mix, horseshoe, balding mullet thing.
That's me too, mate. Yeah. It seems to be a common thing now with Ben Affleck. It's like I always have to have a dodgy or questionable haircut.
It started with Argo, really, didn't it?
Yeah. Maybe he's got that, like, if you're a football fan, you'll know Steven Gerrard's got that sort of thick mop that you can't do anything with.
Lego.
Yeah, Lego hair. It's exactly that, isn't it? I'd love Lego hair. Mm-hmm. I've got this wispy, blow in the wind, thinning nonsense hair.
It's still quite luscious.
Thanks, man. I needed that.
Yeah.
Second thing I didn't like about the film was greed. I grow weary of watching rich people fighting for more money.
I grow weary.
I grow so weary. I sound like a monk in this episode.
I grow weary.
Yeah, I do. I grow ever so weary. In the context of the film, Viola Davis squeezes as much moolah as she can out of Nike. It turned out to be a strong move from a mother looking to do the best for her kids.
In case he gets injured.
Yeah, but I find myself growing less and less tolerant of films that showcases the pursuit of wealth and the plight of the privileged.
But would you rather someone like Michael Jordan, his family get the money, or big rich corporations that are millionaires? It's even said in the film that Phil Knight has got $100 million and 10 Porsches.
I get it. And if I was in a position where someone wanted...
jealousy, mate.
And I'm plagued with jealousy. Completely understand as a parent wanting to make as much money as she can for her son. I get it. But just with these films, it was like everything was going well. Crossed the line. I was like, cool. And then it was like, we want more money. And I was like, well, of course you fucking do. Because that happens in every single one of these films. And I just grow weary of it. Mm-hmm. I grow weary.
Yeah, I'm with you. I am with you because... it wasn't mentioned in the preliminary stages of picking a shoe brand that they would want a share of all shoe sales forever. It was only when she said to Damon, we're going to go with you guys. And he's like, yeah. And she goes, and now we want 10, a certain percentile of your profits for the coming years.
And I get it. Of course I get it. And to answer your question, of course I'd rather the money go to the family of the person that's making Nike all the money, that's this once-in-a-generation superstar, one of the best to ever do it, one of the greatest sportsmen in any sports ever. Of course he deserves that. Like, if he wasn't that success, Nike wouldn't be making the money. He wouldn't be making $400 million in
They certainly didn't make a loss on him.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, just grow weary, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
When it becomes about the money, it's like Rod Tillman in Rod Tillman, I can't remember his name. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s character in Jerry Maguire.
Show me the money.
Yeah, but it's like when Tom Cruise says to him, like, do you remember when you first got into sport because of the love of the game? And Cuba Gooding Jr.'s like, no. It was always to do with money.
Listen, I'm not a highly successful human being, and if I was, maybe I'd be more like, more money. I deserve more money. Maybe it's the lack of self-worth, I don't know. But for me, I've seen so many films, especially recently, that's just about greed.
Depends on the commodity onto which you measure your success, because because your bank ain't full of money.
That's another little ego stroke you've given me.
And your heart isn't very warm.
Okay, that's a less comforting notion.
And your boat race is a little off-putting.
All right, let's leave it there now because it's turning into an onslaught of insults. Mm-hmm. My final dislike, it is a meeting origin story.
A what?
A meeting origin story.
Having a meeting?
Yeah. I was hugely entertained by it, but at its core, it's the lead-up and execution of a meeting.
Some of the most important events in the world were meetings.
Right.
The Paris Accords, Geneva Convention.
Yeah, but this is about a fucking sneaker.
Okay.
I waited over an hour for the meeting to start, then it happened, and the film finished shortly after. I don't know what, I don't know why, but something about that bothered me. It's a meeting.
It's a true story.
It's entertaining. It was interesting enough, but when you strip it all back, it's a meeting. It's like when you're at work and someone bothers you with a phone call, it's like it's an email. That should have been an email. This is a meeting. Did it deserve to be a film? I don't know. Did I enjoy it? Absolutely.
Well, then it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you enjoyed it, then yeah. But I suppose, yeah.
2 hours for a meeting.
I think if you would have seen more go into how they create the shoe, that would have been kind of cool.
I'm more interested in the guy designing the shoe.
Peter Moore.
Yeah.
I think it's Peter Moore.
Yeah, and he's little, he gets a little comment at the end of the film on what he went on to do, and he unfortunately, sadly passed away before the film started production.
Oh.
If the film was more about what goes into him designing of the sneaker and stuff, what inspired him to make shoes, I'd watch that fucking film.
Yeah.
And I'd have very little beef against that sort of film because it's about a creator, an expressive person who has got a mad obsession with sneakers and wants to discover what makes him tick, like wants to evolve his love of them.
I wonder if Matthew Mayer has a speech impediment in real life or if that was part of the character.
I'm not sure.
We'll never know.
No.
We'll never know.
I'm sure you could find out.
Nah.
There's the internet now.
What?
Yeah.
Well, you could just type something in.
Look anything up you want. There's a lot of nonsense on there though, mate, so be careful.
Oh.
I've got some questions. Affleck and Damon are a dream team. What sort of project would you like to see them work together on next?
Oh, God.
It's tricky, isn't it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. They've done so much. They've done low-class Bostonites, where one of them's a genius, the other one's a bit of a crook. Well, not crook, but, a beerer. They've done Medieval Nights together, and now they've done a sort of sporty 70s film together. And I can't say Serial Killers again.
Yeah. No,
okay, they play the Hillside Stranglers. Nah, it'll give Affleck another haircut.
Bad one.
Very bad.
Yeah, but if he's a serial killer, he deserves it, right? I don't even have an answer, mate, so it's all right. I guess I'd like to see them in like a, I don't know, boxing film where they fight each other.
Nah. I don't want to see him in anything macho.
They've got to become lovers.
No, they would never do that.
Post-apocalyptic. They're surviving bros against zombie mutant people, demons.
No, it needs to be something. Okay, I'll give you the broadest answer. A true story again.
Okay,
just
that's
more true stories.
Yeah, that's good. Well done. Ben Affleck has made a successful detour into directing. Which A-list actor would you like to see get behind the camera and why? Oh, man.
Fucking hell, there's like a billion actors. Yeah. Hold on a moment. What A-list actor would I like to see get behind the camera and why? None.
Okay.
None. I don't...
Okay.
Actor, stay actor.
Dad's not vibing
I don't
today.
think Ben Affleck is a great director.
I do.
No, he's average. Anyone could do... I don't think he brings anything different to the table, apart from the fact that he puts himself in all his fucking films.
Right, you need to calm down, sir. Okay?
It's true.
I think this was a good film. I think Gone Baby Gone was a good film. I think The Town was a good film. I think Argo was a good film. I think, you're right, he's not a revolutionary director, but so many actors have directed a film or two and nothing else has come of it. He's directed a few and I think he's a solid director. The films I've seen of his as a director, I've enjoyed.
I'm not saying I haven't enjoyed them, but he's in 2 out of 3 of them. I've never liked it when directors put themselves in their own films.
You don't enjoy that.
I don't enjoy it.
You grow wary of that.
You find out Elizabeth Banks is directing films. And you're like, well,
he's a better director than Elizabeth Banks.
Yeah, exactly. But anyone thinks they can do it.
I can do it.
Well, yeah. But the quality of the final product is what concerns me.
What if I made a film?
Yeah.
It would be...
I don't know. I find when actors break away to do their own things, it's like if I found out Timothée Chalamet's doing his directional debut, it would be the most art housey little indie project ever.
It'd be a perfume advert, probably, wouldn't it? It'd be a 2-hour-long perfume advert.
It would be about his inability to age.
Yeah, yeah. So, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button.
But that was the opposite of aging. That was younging.
He's kind of younging. Younging. He's kind of young.
I honestly thought he was 21 still.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it when I read after watching Bones and all.
There's not an actor that you enjoy their presence so much that you think you'd make a good director.
I don't know how I would apply their acting to their potential to direct. I don't know why it would make any difference for me. Like, say, if someone said to me, say, someone who says has never directed, who could we go for there? I don't know. They probably have directed. Angelina Jolie's directing all the time, isn't she?
Yeah.
Well, she just did. Oh, was that Malaysian one I watched? Not Malaysian.
Those Who Killed My Father?
Yeah, the first They Killed My Father.
Killed My Father.
Cambodian movie. Great movie. Didn't know she had that in her.
She did Unbroken as well.
Yeah, so I would be making an uneducated guess.
That's what I wanted you to do, really.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'd like to see Daniel Day-Lewis behind a camera because I know he's given up acting. I'd just be interested. It might bomb. He might be just a stone-cold actor that can't tell a story behind the camera, but I'd be interested to see. Christian Bale is another method actor that I think he takes his work so seriously. I'd like to see him behind a camera to see what that would look like. I think there's a few.
Has DiCaprio directed?
Not to the best of my knowledge, but again, you're right. There's so many actors that do an odd film that you'd have no idea they directed it.
I look at it like stand-up comedians. The ones who broke their noses getting onto the little circuits and doing the really little venues from the very beginning, and that was what they did, and are now, say, some of the best stand-up comedians in the world. I respect them more than the likes of, say, Gervais or someone who got famous through doing something else and now they're a stand-up comedian. So
I see, yeah.
My issue being is that I prefer seeing Spielberg cut his teeth with with having to suffer because of a broken mechanical shark and doing Duel and learning the ropes from a very young age, not interested in being the other side of the screen.
Okay.
I think actors serving under lots of directors for years and years and years and then saying, I'm going to direct a film. Well, yeah, you've been around, you're influenced by other people's methods. Yeah, I don't agree with it.
That's okay, man. I'm sorry for giving you lackluster questions. The final one's
not lackluster. I just would have liked maybe a little forewarning.
We don't do that here.
Well, I do it for you sometimes.
Yeah, that's fair. Last question. Michael Jordan makes an estimated $400 million a year through Air Jordan sales. What would be the first thing you would do with $400 million?
Fudge. Well, buy...
Direct a film?
Hell no. I'd buy a property so far from anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Huge garden, loads of rooms, swimming pool, sound studio, all the instruments I ever wanted.
Yeah.
It would just be isolated.
Yeah.
It would be isolated. Pay off any debt and friends and loved ones, give them money however I can.
Would you get me like a little like soy boy property nearby? Not right on your doorstep, but it's like a half an hour walk between us and you just buy me a house.
I mean, it's 400 million, so I think being taxed on it wouldn't matter so much because it's so much money.
Yeah.
So I'd either buy you a house of your choosing wherever you want, or try and find a way to just give you it as a money gift and you and your partner can decide what to do with it. But this is the great thing about getting older. You fall out of people a lot more and be that family and friends. So my list has got so much smaller. I wouldn't have to part with much money.
Yeah, I'm there with you, mate.
It's great. I've got two friends.
Yeah.
Maybe two friends, one brother who I see, and, a mum and a stepdad. Yeah. And obviously wife and baby come with me. So
yeah.
So small list. You'd come off real good.
Thanks, man.
You'd get a good chunk.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
My one would be a little bit more adventurous, I think. And then I would do what you did after. The first thing I would do, if I got a decent sum of money, I'd just go to my nearest airport and get the next flight.
No, don't do that.
I'd get the next flight.
The reason I'd say don't do that is because you're one of those real unlucky fuckers and you die in that plane crash.
Yeah, you're right.
Take it slow.
You're right.
Take it slow.
Yeah.
Enjoy the money first.
Yeah.
Buy a house, feel that freedom a little, feel that isolation where you don't have to put up with noisy asshole inbred neighbours.
Yeah.
And just enjoy it. Yeah. And then maybe when you're a bit safe and you've written all your wills out, then go.
That's wise, man.
Yeah, don't jump on that plane, man, because you will.
I will, yeah.
You're alive it.
Oh, yeah. I'd get the first, and it would be to such a common location. It'd be like somewhere in Spain, nothing impressive. Yeah. And I'd be like, okay, and that's when it would happen. Mm-hmm. You're fucking right. Thank you, man.
No, you're right.
Thank you. Yeah.
That's right, bro.
So when I get $400 million, I know to just chill with it for a bit. Thank you.
Chill.
What would you rate Air out of 10?
7.5.
Okay. It's a very good score.
Well, I just enjoyed it. I didn't have much criticism on it.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's one of them weird ones. I couldn't lowball it because I do enjoy it. I've watched it twice. I wasn't bored. The performances are fun. The characters are fun.
Yeah.
That little piece of history is kind of cool, seeing how I walked away thinking I could make a shoe.
You'd make a bloody good shoe, mate.
I mean, if all it takes is for 8 or 9 people to come up to me with ideas and I go, I don't like it, but do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. And then I become a millionaire. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I was tempted to like lowball it, and then I was like, why am I being a dick? Like, I enjoyed the film. It was great entertainment. I watched it twice. On the second viewing, I wasn't like, oh, here we go again. First time I watched it on my own, the second time with my partner. Both times I greatly enjoyed it. I didn't want it to hurry up and finish. Wasn't bored, looked at my phone. So I'd give it a 7, so slightly less than you. That gives Air a total score of 14.5 out of 20. If you like your films to be fast, fun and factual, or if you've ever wanted to observe an office meeting origin story, then Air could be a film for you. Consider watching this one if you enjoyed Moneyball, The Founder and Argo. Do you play a game?
Yes, si, senor.
The game in question is What the Plot, where the rules are simple and the results quite the opposite. Harry will conceive an original idea from his big and beautiful brain and give birth to a plot. It is then down to me to nurture this thought by providing a film title, genre, cast, and anything else I can think of to raise this brainchild into a fully functioning film concept. Over to you, Harry.
So there's a paraplegic. I'm joking.
No. For any new listeners to the podcast, we have done this game many times, and many times Harry's plot has involved
no
some
legs.
form of leg loss.
Leg loss.
And for the listener, as soon as he said that, I looked at him and shook my head because I was like, you can't keep doing this, man.
No, I'm joking.
That's good.
No, I'm done with my trilogy of leglessness.
Yeah.
Cool. So a university student in New York spends her whole weekend trying to avoid looking after her uncle who is 7 years younger than her.
Wait. No, that can happen. Of course it can.
Yeah.
How old's that through me? Uncle should be older.
Yeah, they should.
So, how old's this university student?
Let's say she's 21, so that would make her younger uncle 14.
Younger uncle is 14. Explain those dynamics for me, because I'm a bit... So she's just got a older...
So let's say Dave and Tina have a kid at 16 and he's called John. Then John has a kid at 16 and she's called Laura. Dave and Tina then have a child at 39, Tom. Laura, Dave and Tina's grandchild, is 7 years older than his Uncle Tom. So anytime your parent has a younger sibling than their child. You understand?
Not really, but we'll just go with it. She's got a baby uncle.
Say I was 16 and I had a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that baby's called John.
Yeah.
And then when that kid's 16, so now what's 16 plus 16? 32. Now I'm 32. John's had a baby. I had a baby before John had his baby again. So I kept having kids. My kid could be younger than my son's kid.
Okay.
So that kid's uncle be younger.
Okay. So we got a baby uncle.
Yeah, well, I'll go again. So a university student in New York spends her whole weekend trying to avoid looking after her uncle who's 7 years younger than her, and to avoid anyone meeting him because he is her baby uncle, and tells everyone he meets, I'm her uncle. In trying to avoid him meeting anyone, they accidentally witness a murder in an alley behind a pizza joint because she saw a guy she likes in the restaurant and quickly took her baby uncle to the back door to avoid the baby uncle chat. This becomes a 48-hour chase film, funny, touching in New York City with baby uncle. Could you imagine, though, if you're a university student, you're 21, so you're in your third year or something, and your mum goes, oh, your uncle's coming to stay, and she's like, no, mum, I can't. He's 7 years younger than me. He tells everyone I'm her uncle. It's embarrassing. So she tries to keep him away from her circles because she's a really popular girl.
Okay.
And then when she takes him to a pizza place, because he's 14, but he's her uncle. Yeah.
You're really hitting that point.
When she takes him to a pizza place, she sees a guy she fancies. She does not want this conversation because her little uncle will go over and go, I'm her uncle. And so she jumps out the back, and that leads them to witness a murder, and then they start getting chased around the city, and they actually start to get to know each other more. And it's quite funny, maybe almost a bit like Adventures in Babysitting. Yeah, a bit lighthearted, kind of funny.
Out of interest, did you have this one planned, or did you throw it my way because I gave difficult questions?
No, I thought about it this morning.
Okay.
Well, I Googled, can you have an older uncle? No, can you have a younger uncle?
Yeah, well, of course you can, yeah.
Well, you struggled with the concept, so I don't know why you're saying of course you can.
Well, because you explained it, and I'm not the most sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to understanding anything to do with maths and
My uncle's younger
families.
than me.
Yeah, you can have an uncle.
Yeah, it's when you're... Yeah, anytime your parent has a younger sibling than their child.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Okay. So it's a comedy, obviously. And the story, I guess it's a story about a reluctant aunt. No. Reluctant niece of her baby uncle and coming to terms with that.
Well, yeah, she's 21, he's 14. She can drink and all that stuff, and now her uncle comes to town because he's visiting the city of New York, and she lives there as a student, so he's staying with her.
When they witness the murder, are they under threat because they saw the people do it? Or is it about
they're getting chased?
So so they're trying
to
escape.
They end up in the subway, they end up in bars and stuff.
Maybe it's like a gangster type deal, and they're under threat. Her and her baby uncle are under threat because they've witnessed a murder.
Yeah, and he never lets it go that he's her uncle.
Yeah, to anyone.
To anyone, even when they're trying to sort of tell the police, like, what happened? And he's like, well, my niece over there. And they're like, what are you talking about? And he goes, that's my niece. He never lets that joke die.
Yeah.
Ever.
Okay. So I just see this as like, it's almost like a throwback to like your 90s comedies like Big Daddy, where you've got a dynamic between an adult and a child. So I'd see it as being quite a zany nod to those comedies in the 90s that aren't really substantial, but they're good throwaway light entertainment. So in summary, we've got a university student in New York who's 21. She's got a younger uncle who is 14. And this university student, 21, is trying to avoid looking after her uncle, 14. They see a murder and try to hide the fact that they've witnessed a murder, try to maybe alert the authorities, but they're also in danger, so they're in peril. And the whole time you've got this teenager baby uncle just trying to belittle her, and anyone will listen and be like, this adult uncle. So it's that relationship. It's how they handle it within the perilous pursuit of murderers, I guess.
I think to like non-educated people that they bump into as well, they naturally straight away think that there's been incest somewhere in the family, because it sounds weird when you say that your uncle's younger than you. So they think that there's been some dirties, and that's why she can't bother to explain it.
Well, I think my instinct was, can that happen? And you explained it. I'm not going to lie, I don't fully understand the logistics and dynamics of it, but I believe you, of course. Like, yeah, cool.
So
don't try and explain it again.
It's if your mum had a baby much later in her life.
Yeah, but that wouldn't be someone's uncle.
It would be your kid's uncle.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, it would be your kid's uncle. So
I think I get it.
So you've had a baby.
Yeah.
And then you say your mum then has a baby. Your mum has a baby after you've had your baby.
Yeah.
Your baby's uncle is younger than they are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I've got it. We'll have a long chat after this where you can draw diagrams and really explain it to me, because this is something I always struggle with, and I can't tell you why. My brain's a bit foggy with this sort of thing.
It's just the art of seminal fluid.
Okay. Can that be the title?
Ooh.
No, that's a different film, but I'll note that down for a more sinister film. So I see this as a flat-out comedy, as I say, a nod to 90s sort of light-hearted comedy, bit silly, bit zany, bit wacky.
Not super bad, not like kind of funny, dirty film.
No, not just a silly sort of, it's like a chase film, Home Alone vibe crossed with just Big Daddy, like you said, babysitting. What was that babysitting film you said? The Horrors of Babysitting?
The Horrors of Babysitting.
What was the film? What's the film you said?
You should call this film The Horrors of Babysitting, but Adventures in Babysitting.
Okay, that I haven't seen the film yet. So I'd have it as a straight-out comedy. And I'd have the directors as the Farrelly brothers.
Who they?
They did There's Something About Mary. Peter Farrelly did The Green Book, which got slated even though it won an Oscar. Me, Myself and Irene. I think they did the first Dumb and Dumber. I could be wrong. I know they did the second Dumb and Dumber, but they're known for that sort of wacky
That's great.
comedy. And for me, this film sort of feels like a throwback. I don't know why. Can't exactly tell you why.
That sounds good.
The only bit of casting I've got is a 21-year-old university student, and I'd have it as Zendaya, because it's the only, at the top of my head, that's the only actress that could do New York that's 21-ish.
Yeah. Do you know who I'd have as the 14-year-old?
Timothée Chalamet.
No, as much as that would have been funny, I would just have whoever played Fogel in Superbad, because he still looks really young. Just shave him, make him little.
Yeah.
He could be a 14, 15-year-old.
You know what? I think his name's Christopher Mintz-Plaze or something, isn't
That's
it?
it. Yeah, Christopher Mintz-Plaze.
Christopher Mintz. I'm going to cast him because he hasn't been getting too much
Zendaya
work.
does look a bit too young.
But she's 20. So yeah, but that's kind of the point. So if she looks young and then she's got an even younger looking uncle.
Yeah, but I think the point should be that she looks of age, like quite old. Not old, but like, because I still look at Zendaya and think 18.
Judi Dench?
Yeah, that's more like it.
She does not look 21.
That is definitely more like it.
Well, we'll go with the 14-year-old baby uncle to be Christopher Mintz-Plaze.
Yes,
Plaze.
he'd play that well.
And he's like 33, so that would be funny.
Yeah, but he don't look 33.
Okay, so he's playing a 14-year-old. Not happy with Zendaya as the 21-year-old?
I think it needs to look funny. So I think she needs to look a bit older.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going zany comedy directed by the Farrelly.
Keep your preference.
I'm going Jennifer Lawrence now.
Yeah.
Comedy directed by the Farrelly brothers, starring Jennifer Lawrence as the 21-year-old university student and her 14-year-old uncle, who may actually be older than Jennifer Lawrence, is Christopher Mintz-Plaze. And I'd call the film The Curious Case of Baby Uncle.
Jennifer, you need to pick him up from the airport. It'd be really good for you to spend some time with your...
Don't you fucking say uncle.
But that's what he is.
No, he's a fucking child. Baby uncle do-do-do-do-do, baby uncle do-do-do-do-do, baby uncle do-do-do-do-do, he's a kid. Baby uncle do-do-do-do-do, baby uncle do-do-do-do-do, baby uncle do-do-do-do-do, she is not. A university student has a child uncle that she does not want to look after, but she has to. And then they witness a murder. Starring Jennifer Lawrence as the adult niece and Christopher Mintz-Plaze as the baby uncle, who is actually 2 years her senior. The Curious Case of Baby Uncle. Just fucking watch it.